Welcome to Clever Money Hacks, the channel where money moves and life improves. In today's deep dive, we'll be discussing one of the biggest, most ingrained financial beliefs out there.
The sacred cow.
Exactly, the sacred cow of personal finance. The idea that your number one goal should be paying off your home mortgage as fast as humanly possible.
And our source material for this really challenges that idea head on. It argues that for a lot of people, rushing to get to zero debt on your house might actually be the single biggest financial mistake they ever make.
And this deep dive is all about giving you that rapid, insightful knowledge you need to really get your head around that argument.
That's right. I mean, our mission here is to challenge that default mindset, the financial autopilot that so many homeowners are on for decades.
Just doing what they're told is the right thing to do.
Exactly. The sources suggest that just locking into that decision without ever questioning the real financial implications, it just holds people back. It prevents them from really maximizing their wealth.
So we're moving past the simple yes or no. It's not just, should I pay it off early?
No, we need to ask a much better question. We need to ask, why would I want to pay it off? And is that why really worth the opportunity cost?
That reframing it's everything. And when we look at the source material, it seems to identify three main reasons people do this.
Yep, three core motivations.
They're looking for security, they want more cash flow, or they're trying to build equity. And we really need to break each of these down because the emotional feeling you get often clashes completely with the financial reality.
Let's jump into that first one then. It's probably the most powerful driver.
Security.
The emotional desire for security, that feeling of being free and clear, safe from the bank.
Which sounds amazing. I mean, who wouldn't want that? You get rid of a, say, $3,400 monthly payment and you feel totally secure. But the source material has a name for this. It calls it the payment illusion.
Yes.
So why is it an illusion?
It's an illusion because what you're getting is psychological freedom, not necessarily financial freedom. The illusion is that you've wiped out all your obligations to that house.
But you haven't.
Not even close.
Yeah.
The financial reality is even after that mortgage payment is gone, you still have 4 other major payments you have to make every single month just to stay in that home.
Okay, so the first one is obvious. Property taxes. You skip those.
And the state takes your house. It doesn't matter if you have a mortgage or not.
Okay, so that's one. What are the other non-negotiables?
Well, second is insurance.
Yeah.
Sure, the bank makes you have it when you have a loan, but you'd be crazy not to have it anyway.
Yeah.
A fire, a flood.
Yeah.
Your single biggest asset could just vanish overnight.
Of course. Then you get into the costs just to live there.
Right, the habitability payment.
Utilities, I'm guessing.
Exactly. Electricity, water, gas. You can't live without them, and that's a recurring monthly cost. And the fourth one is the one people always forget. Maintenance. Roofs leak, pipes burst, furnaces die. The source really hammers this home.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to come up with money every single month just to keep the lights on and the place from falling apart.
So if your mortgage was, what, $3,400 and you pay it off, you might cut your required monthly expenses down to maybe $1,000 or $1,500, but it is not zero.
Correct. So the security isn't absolute. You've just swapped one big payment for 4 smaller but still non-negotiable payments.
Mm-hmm.
The question just changes from, can I afford the house payment, to how much cash do I need every month just to survive here?
And that leads us straight into the second motivation.
Cash flow.
People think once that mortgage is gone, all that money is suddenly free to spend. It feels like a huge win.
It feels like one, for sure. But this is where we have to talk about opportunity cost, and the math here is, well, it's pretty compelling.
The argument being, by paying down debt early, you're picking a small, guaranteed return
Which is just saving your mortgage interest rate.
over a potentially much, much higher compounding return from investing that same money.
That's the core of it. Let's use the example from the source to really spell it out.
Okay, and these are big numbers. A California median home, so about $873,000, and a mortgage of $650,000 at 4.9% fixed over 30 years.
Which gives you a monthly payment of around $3,400.
So now, let's say our homeowner wants to pay it off faster. They decide to throw an extra $365 at the principal every month. About 10% extra.
Right, so now we have 2 options for that $365, a fork in the road.
Option 1 is the traditional path.
Option 1, the mortgage paydown. You take that $365 and you just dump it into the mortgage. The source calls the equity you build here a black hole.
A black hole.
Because the money disappears. You're saving 4.9% interest on it, which is good, but you lose immediate access to that cash. And this is the critical part. Your required monthly payment of $3,400 does not change.
Not unless you refinance.
Right, which is a whole other hassle and might not even be a good idea. You're just shortening the life of the loan.
Okay, so what is option 2? The income investment.
You take that same $365 a month, but instead you invest it. You put it into a high-yield income-producing asset. The source uses an example like a REIT, FTRC, which at the time was yielding around 10.75%.
Wow. So the immediate trade-off is saving 4.9% versus potentially earning 10.75%.
Exactly. That's a huge difference.
But hold on, we have to talk about the risk. Paying down the mortgage, saving that 4.9%, that is a guaranteed return. The 10.75% investment is absolutely not.
That's a crucial point, and the source acknowledges that risk. But remember the goal here. The goal isn't just safety. The homeowner in this scenario wants cash flow, and the power of option 2 is using compounding to build an income stream that replaces the mortgage payment. The math is exponential.
Okay, so let's see the math. What happens to that $365 investment over time?
If you do it consistently at that 10.75% rate, the magic of compounding just takes over. And in only 20 years, the income from that investment account is enough to cover the entire $3,400 mortgage payment.
Wait, say that again? In 20 years, that little extra investment pays for the whole house payment.
It pays for the whole thing. You've achieved the cash flow goal, but you did it without locking up a single extra penny in the house itself. You still have the debt, but your investment pays for it, and you still own the capital in that investment account.
That's a really hard concept to grasp. You've basically zeroed out your housing expense, but you kept all the capital liquid.
And that's just the beginning. The source shows that if you let that run for, say, 40 years, that stream of passive income from the original $365 a month, it could grow to an insane amount, like $67,000 per month.
$67,000 a month, just from redirecting that extra $365.
Yes. So option 1 saves you 4.9% interest and gives you a paid-off house a few years early. Option 2 creates the potential for actual generational wealth, an income stream that could last forever.
When you put it like that, the argument for paying it off early just for cash flow, it looks financially irresponsible.
It really does.
Okay, so that's a staggering contrast. So if security is an illusion and the cash flow argument is weak, what about the third reason? Building equity. People see their house as a giant savings account.
Right, and this brings us to 3 really powerful ideas that challenge that. Inflation arbitrage, capital mobilization, and time asymmetry.
Let's start with inflation arbitrage. Why is keeping a big fixed-rate mortgage actually a good thing in an inflationary world?
Because your debt is fixed, but the value of money is not. We're in a debt-based system, right? Inflation means the dollars you'll earn in the future are worth less than the dollars today.
So that $3,000 payment you have today.
In 10 or 20 years, that same $3,000 payment will feel a lot cheaper. Your wages have hopefully gone up, other prices have gone up, but that debt payment stays exactly the same. You're paying off old, expensive debt with new, cheaper money.
So you want to hang on to that fixed debt as long as possible because inflation is basically helping you pay it off.
It's shrinking the real burden of it every single year. And this connects right to the next point, the capital mobilization trap.
The black hole you mentioned earlier.
The black hole. Look, the whole point of building wealth is to have mobile capital. You want to get the same dollar to do 2, 3, 5 jobs at once.
And when you pay extra on your house, that dollar has only one job, and it's stuck.
It's locked up tight. It's highly illiquid. You can't use it for an emergency. You can't jump on a great business opportunity. You can't reallocate it if the market changes. To get it back, you have to sell or refinance. Both are slow and expensive.
Which brings us to the last point, time asymmetry. The idea that you could be getting much better returns somewhere else.
If your goal is really to maximize your assets, you have to look past the 4.9% you're saving. You have to compare it to what that money could be doing.
So let's look at the alternatives the source gives us. Let's start with a basic one.
Okay, the S&P 500, a classic benchmark. If you put that same $365 a month in the S&P 500 and you use a long-term average return of, say, 7%, over 30 years, you'd end up with about $450,000.
Liquid, outside the house.
Exactly. That 7% return already beats the 4.9% you saved. And crucially, that money is mobile. It's accessible.
But the source doesn't stop there. It uses more aggressive examples just to show how big the difference can be.
It does. It uses an example with higher growth assets, like Bitcoin, just to illustrate the power of a higher compound annual growth rate, even if you use a conservative guess, like a 20% growth rate.
Which we should say is just for illustration, not investment advice.
Absolutely, just for the math. But that same $365 a month over 30 years could turn into something like $18 to $22 million.
The opportunity cost isn't a few $1,000s. It's a decision worth millions of dollars over your lifetime.
It fundamentally changes the game. If your goal is pure wealth maximization, choosing the 7% or the 20% option is mathematically just superior to saving 4.9%.
So what does this all mean? When you put the powerful emotional desire for security next to this stark financial reality of opportunity costs.
It means we have to synthesize them. The common advice to pay off the house is driven by an emotion, a desire to feel safe. But the numbers show that chasing that feeling comes at a crippling long-term cost. You lose time, you lose compounding, and you lose mobility.
This sounds like what the source calls the collapse of the default.
It is. It's about questioning the script we were all handed. Most people are just running on pre-programmed tracks, Go to school, get a job, save in a 401k, pay off the house.
But that script is based on an old system.
An entirely different economic system. That play it safe advice was fine in the pre-1971 equity-based world. But today, we live in a debt-based system with rapid inflation, where your costs are rising faster than your wages. Playing it safe with old rules is actually the risky move now.
Which brings us to the big takeaway. You can't just earn wealth, it has to be engineered.
The source had a fascinating statistic. Something like 60% of six-figure earners are still living paycheck to paycheck. That proves high income isn't enough. You need a strategy. You have to adopt what they call the engineer's mindset. You decide on your ideal outcome first. Is it cash flow? Is it asset growth? And then you work backward to design a system to get there. You don't just default to saving 4.9%.
So for you, the listener, the key is to decide what game you are actually playing. Are you playing for emotional safety, which is just getting rid of one of your 5 house payments?
Or are you playing for superior cash flow? Or for the fastest possible asset growth?
Once you know the goal, the path becomes clearer.
Exactly. And our sources make a great point. Most financial advice is designed to keep you out of trouble. It's not designed to help you win. If you want to win, you have to think like an engineer. You have to figure out how to stack systems, how to get $1 to do 3, 5, or 10 jobs at once. That's what separates the default path from real wealth creation.
That is a powerful and provocative final thought. Thank you for helping us dive into these sources today and really tear apart one of finance's biggest sacred cows.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your ideas for future episodes. See you next time.